Mm.
Live now. PO group में. All right, so we are live now. We'll wait for a couple of minutes and let's see who are joining. So far, we have Mayank, who will be the speaker for the day. And we have Hasti and Smriti, who will be supporting us from the background in case any help needed. So let's wait for a couple of minutes and let's see. Few people joins and then we will begin. In the meanwhile, Mike, you can have your first slide come up on the screen. So whoever is looking into the live stream, they will be able to see what is going on. All right, Jaideep is also here. He will be one of our instructor for some other webinar that we will be conducting in upcoming weeks. We are able to see there are 5 persons in online. They are watching it. We will be having few peoples in a while. All right, so we have 8 visitors so far in our YouTube channel. I think in 1 minute, Mayank, we can start. Whoever will be looking for joining on the Zoom link, you can request on chat in YouTube. If you are listening to us, I'll paste the Zoom link if you're interested so that you can ask your questions if you have any directly over the bridge. All right, I think, Mike, we can start now for the interest of time, and people will be joining momentarily. Whoever you missed it, you can watch it from the beginning. This is just the beginning, though. and other people who will be joining late, they can watch the recording. All right. So over to you, Mike.
So, Niladri, thank you so much. So, everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So, the topic for today's discussion is coaching alliance and coaching and contracts. So, what we are going to cover as part of this is coaching stance, internal versus the external coaches, defining the coaching contract, and starting a coaching alliance. So, who is a coach? So, a coach can be a teacher. It means that he would be the one who would impart the knowledge. The coach can be a facilitator, so he can guide the team or he can guide the group towards the specific solution. Um, he can be a mentor, so that would help you to achieve any technical knowledge or any skill set, and he should have the skill set of coaching. So it means that he will help you in enhancing your potential. An agile coach should also be well versed with various frameworks of agile, what are different mindset and behavior, and he should have done some transformation as well. So let's see what should be your stance when you are doing the coaching. So you have to hold the client agenda supreme. So client, whatever client is looking for, you have to hold that agenda. Don't put in your agenda. Respect client current capability. So when you are coaching a client, it might be possible that he might not have the right information or the right skill set or the right way to approach. So as a coach, you have to respect their current capability, who they are, and based on that, you have to uh, help them in proceeding or getting towards the right solution. You should embody growth mindset. So what is growth mindset? Growth mindset means that your growth is dependent on the growth of other. So you need to treat your client as creative, resourceful, and you should maintain neutrality. So in throughout this coaching process, you should be neutral. You should not be biased towards any specific outcome, any specific areas, and you have to reduce the client's dependency on you. So when you are doing the coaching, what you have to focus is your client should not become dependent on you. So whatever decisions they have to take or whatever solutions they have to make, that should be their own thought process. What as a coach you would do? You would just you would just ask the powerful question. You should be actively listening, and you should help them to achieve the solution what they are looking for. You as a coach should practice and promote self-awareness and self-management. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is the ability to discover yourself. So you might be knowing something about you, but others don't know. That is one area. There are something which others know about you, but you don't know. There are something which other don't know and you also don't know. And there is something which the other know and you don't know. So this is also called Johari window. So you can practice and promote self-awareness and self-management. Is there any question on the mindful approach?
Yeah, so let's wait for a couple
Yeah,
of
hi
minutes.
Mayank.
Yeah.
Mayank, can you hear me?
Yes, Sulabh.
Yeah, so I have one question here. Can you just tell me in a practical scenario, especially when we are working as an agile team, how to induce this growth mindset? What kind of practices one can opt for to promote the growth mindset within the team?
Yeah, so there are some of the practices like you should promote learning. That is one thing. Your organization should have a continuous, or a team should have a continuous learning process, and you as a leader can lead by example. And um, what other things is uh, you can help them focus towards what is the vision of the company, right? And that will help them to drive their way, or to find a way to achieve that outcome. That's some of the thing I can think of.
Yeah. So on top of that, when we talk about growth, this growth is not, we are focusing on the financial growth, or we are not talking about the expansion of their client. We are talking about the growth on their culture. The everywhere, whenever you start working as an agile, why we need a coach? Because coach is a person who have multiple hats. They know how to bring the process. They are the mentor. They have the coaching ability, and their goal is to bring up not only the development team, not only the managers, not only the products people, everyone within that organizations and the clients comes into one page, one process, so that they can go into that. And to enable that, everyone has to have enough resource sharing culture as a whole organization. Now, if you talk about growth, this mindset is something that you need to start from the very beginning on the top management, where they are very closely connected with your customers or client. Now, if you are organizations who are providing service to a customer, you need to first find out that customer is your God. Your customer's culture, if you just in that concept, because whenever you go for any kind of business, we think only from a monetary point of view. And we think, okay, let's follow that customer. But as we know that customer's requirement is highest, and to work on agile, you need to bring customer as the same way. And that's the thinking about to changing the customer in the right way, or bringing the customer under the same umbrella. That's a mindset. Mostly there is a different type of mindset that we will be charged money, we will be providing the service, and it's done. But over here, the working together is one of them, and working together needs a mindset. Whatever the mindset you have, you may be following something, but you need to grow that mindset, that will help you adopt agile. I hope some information, Sulabh, will be we have given. If you have any further question, you can ask. You can let us know. We can go into deep dive into that.
No, sure. Yes, I have the idea, but just on the very, I want to know, I understand that this is not something which is related to financial terms. I know that this is related to that whole team, is whether it distributed or co-located, all team members should be looking for the collective goals or shared goals. But what kind of that is what I wish to know, that what kind of practices in actual real project, and as an enterprise agile coach, one should use or utilize, so that this kind of mindset can embed in the team members over a period of time.
I understand.
Yeah.
Did you got a chance to attend the previous webinar or watch the video where we actually have gone through a deep dive into one of the area? As a coach have multiple different hats. Sometimes coach work as a consultant, sometimes they work as a mentor, sometimes they work as a servant leader, sometimes they work as a teacher. They have different roles. Now, when we talked about mentor, that mentorships applied to product owner, to managers, to the team members, to the other scrum master, to the other coaches. And they have a different way of communications. They have a different patterns to listen. You need to bring that up, how you can communicate, how you should give space to the people to embrace the communication within them and come up with their thoughts. There are multiple different areas. So we need to go deep dive into, we actually have done that in deep dive in the previous webinar where we talked about how you communicate as a 101. So our goal is to going into deep dive in small portions. This is actually very a larger umbrella. If you talk about bringing up the growth mindset as an within an organizations, how you will be applying that. There is no formula that you can be able to do that. There are a few areas definitely you can focus on. Their communications, how you are listening, how your body gesture is, how you are giving them space, how you are empowering them. There are multiple different areas. So probably we will be covering few of them in, I think, next weekend. We have another webinar where we'll be talking about, we talked about facilitator, but what coach facilitate or how they coach. So we'll just only talk about that facilitator for 1 hour. So you'll be getting little more details on that area. So we will talk about coaches, different hats in detail. So over here, we are just talking about a high level of different aspect.
Right? All right, Ilan.
Yeah. And Sulabh, based on my experience with other team, I have seen that giving the feedback at regular interval of time and trying new things and getting the feedback from the customer also helps in achieving the growth mindset.
Good, Mayank.
All right. So, okay. Let's see if anyone have any other questions in this slide before we move ahead. All right. I think we don't have any questions from YouTube. We can move ahead to the next slide, please.
Sure. So this slide talks about what are the challenges of the internal coaches and what are the external coaches' challenges. So the first challenge which we face with the internal coaches is they hold the people accountable. So since the internal coaches are part of the process, are part of the system, they would hold someone accountable for anything. They have personal bias towards people. Sometimes they fear in challenging the status quo. Since they have been part of the organization, it would be difficult for them to being neutral and maintain the confidentiality. And it would be difficult for them to stay out of the office politics. And we have also seen that if you are working as a coach in an organization, apart from coaching, you would have some other responsibilities as well, like managing the team or being part of the contracts which you prepare for the customers. So these are some of the challenges we face with the internal coaches. What are the challenges we face with the external coaches is they need to have an effective system entry. So when a new person joins an organization, it is important that he should have an effective system entry. So he would join the organization and he would start saying that this is not good and this is not working well. People would not accept it because we have been adopting our process, changing our process, doing introspection and retrospection. And therefore, the processes which you look is the result of all those. Fostering too many new relationships. So when a new person as a coach enters the organization, different people have different expectations. So Scrum Masters would approach you with their challenges. The product owner and the product managers would approach you with their challenges. The leadership would approach you with their challenges. So you have to foster too many new relationships. Understanding organization culture is a slow process. So understanding the culture takes a lot of time, and the cultural change comes at the last as the part of changing organization. It's very difficult to change the culture and it will not happen overnight. So you have to give your time. You have to provide sufficient time to understand how the people thinks, how do they behave, how do they work, and what are their expectations. People also have high unrealistic expectations. So leadership would come to you and say that, hey, we want to increase the velocity. How you can do that? The scrum master would come to you and say that our ceremonies are not so effective. How we can do that? The product owners would come to you and say that we don't know what are the different ways to do the prioritization. So there are a lot of realistic and there are a lot of unrealistic expectation from the external coach as well. And treating the client process with respect. So as I mentioned before, when you join a new organization, you believe that whatever they are doing, it doesn't work. You have not done it before, but you have to understand that there are different set of people. There is a different environment, and one process could not work everywhere. So the processes are customized, they are personalized in order to get a great result. And you need to balance the challenge and pace of change. So these are some of the challenges we face with the external coaches. So do you guys have any questions on the internal coaches challenges and the external coaches challenges? Any question on YouTube?
Not yet. So
All right.
whoever is watching on YouTube, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat window. All right, great.
Let's move ahead. So how you can define a coaching contract? So what are the things you need to consider? The first thing is, what are the key expectations? Um, what are the key? So you have to talk to the managers, you have to talk to the leadership and understand what are their expectations from you. What is the timeline? So what is the timeline for the change they are looking for? It's what are the things you have to do in 1 month, 2 months, in a quarter, in half year, and 1 year. So you have to talk about the different timelines and their different outcomes. How many locations would be covered in coaching? So do you want to cover a single office, different offices, or single client or multiple clients? So what are the locations that would be covered in coaching? How many teams are part of coaching engagement? Will coaching involve working with Scrum Master and or the entire team? So if you want me to coach, that would also involve working with the Scrum Masters or with other coaches, or is it with just the leadership, or is it just for the team, or it is just for the art? You have to find out to whom or with whom you have to work. Is there a need to work with middle and senior management? And is training part of engagement? So either you just have to do the coaching or you have to do training on agile or various frameworks in agile as well. How often will the agile training be conducted and how long will each sessions be? So these are some important points which you should consider when you are preparing a coaching contract with an organization. Do we have any questions here?
I'm not seeing any questions from YouTube as well. All right, so let's move ahead then.
Okay, so what are the things you need to avoid as an agile coach? So the first thing is you should not manage a team or team member. If you're managing someone, uh, they would not be comfortable because you are part of their status quo. You are part of their hierarchy. So they will not be confident in sharing all the information or sharing all their concerns because you might judge them. You should not be part of any structural hierarchy. Um, you should not work with client in contract negotiations. And You should not be tracking any delivery issues. So you as a coach should not be part of any delivery issue. So you would not be actively engaged in doing the project planning or doing the delivery of the project. So these are some things which you have to avoid as an agile coach. So what should be your coaching alliance? How you can start with the discussion. So first of all, you have to understand the motivation of the client. So what is their current reality? What are the challenges they are facing? And what is their motivation for this change? Why they want to change? What are the tipping point for that? The second is goal. So you have to define a short-term and a long-term goal. And you have to prioritize them, ask the timeline. That goal can be there to improve the business value delivery, either the productivity, the quality, the turnaround time, and for the self-organizing culture. The next is outcome, how they would measure that you have succeeded, or what is their success factor. So you have to define the measurable outcome for the short term. Why short term? Because if you have generated a short win, the people would be more confident, and they would trust you. So yeah, to gain the trust, you have to show some short term wins. Then what are the possible paths? So what are the way forwards? What are the things that could be done? What are the options that we have to find out and finalize? And then we have to establish the key expectation from both the sides. So what is your expectation? And you also have to listen about their expectation. So these are some of the topics which you have to consider when you are going for a coaching alliance. Is there any question? All right, so I believe that's all from the coaching alliance.
All right, so let's wait for, I think, 2-3 minutes more. If anyone have any questions, feel free to ask. There are a couple of people in YouTube also. We'll just wait for them in case they wants to ask any questions. I'm not seeing any momentum. Then probably if we are done, we can conclude it. And next week onwards, we will be running our webinars on Saturday, 8:30. So whatever the schedules we have, we will be updating them soon in our website. So we are assuming, based on the poll that we have run yesterday, that majority of the people are showing interest to join on weekends. So that's the reason we will be moving them to Saturday going over. All right, great then. Thank you. Thanks, Mayank, for your time, and all the participants for attending and joining this. We will see you soon in our next webinar. Till that time, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.